We back.
And we back.
And today's topic is, why do people expect us young people to be able to afford houses? And where did you get this topic from, Joey? What sparked you to talk about this in the first place?
Well, I was kind of trolling around on Twitter, just looking around, reading stuff. And you know how, like, mostly on Facebook, you'll see compilation photos of, like, how to confuse a millennial, and it would be like, tell them there's no participation trophy, and then, like, all these older people are surprised when, surprise, surprise, a bunch of millennials start clapping back at them, and they're like, how to confuse a millennial, destroy the economy, tell them to go get a job, stuff like that. Well, kind of in that same vein, one lady, and I don't know if she was being sincere or not, but she was like, I'm genuinely confused because it seems like my daughter doesn't share my same drive to get out on my own and find her own place. She's a recent college graduate, and I know at that point in my life, I was ready to get out of my parents' house and be on my own. And I didn't even bother to read the responses because, on one hand, okay, I guess from the perspective of a parent, I can see that. Where it's like, when I was your age, I was ready to do such and such, but, times have changed. Like, student debt is real. I don't think a lot of parents have a real strong understanding of how much student debt affects our life. But it makes it really hard to feel comfortable about buying a house when you got like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 hanging over your head just because we did what every adult in the nation told us to do and go to college. Like, it's funny because one of the few things that we like straight up listened to adults on was you got to go to college to get a degree, to get a good job, to basically live on your own. Then we went to college, they jacked the prices of college up, we got out of college, and then we couldn't find anywhere to work, and we're just like, you lied to us. Like, you probably didn't do it on purpose, but you lied to us.
Like, it was supposed to go down like this.
Yeah, no, like, seriously, the economy has been like up and down and on the rebound, and some industries are coming back and other industries are faltering and whatnot. And I mean, some of that has to do with, the advancement of automation. Like, to the people out there who are like, well, I'm so sick of Obama taking all my jobs because, I used to work at a steel mill cutting out car doors, and now there's a machine to do it. President Obama didn't take your job. Technology took your job, and it's not going to give it back because technology is cheaper. So there are some jobs that are genuinely just going to be lost to automation, but other stuff is just like, y'all are, it goes back to what we talked about in another podcast, and I guess you could probably throw like a link somewhere around, TJ, where it's hard to find a job because y'all, like, employers want us to have like 10 years of experience fresh out of college.
Incoming meme.
Like, seriously though, like some of the jobs that I've applied to, they'll be like, yeah, we're looking for a junior level writer to come in, somebody who's really passionate about the subject, who can get really passionate about the subject matter and sink their teeth into it and come in with fresh ideas, someone who's, fresh out of college and hasn't really cut their teeth on the world. We're looking for 10 years of experience. And I'm like, yo. You can't tell me, like, was I supposed to start doing this when I was 8? Because I didn't know. When I was 8, I was trying to watch Pokemon and Digimon and tell people which one was better. And back then it was Digimon. So for all the haters, Digimon was definitely better than Pokemon for a good minute.
Only for a minute.
Digimon try.
It was okay.
I mean, the newest Pokemon, well, the most recent Pokemon and like season, not the one that's out now with them on the islands, but the one before that one blew all the Digimon seasons out of the water. That was one of the best, like, straight up just anime, there are fights going on that I've seen in a minute. But back then, yeah, Try's okay. My biggest problem with Try is that it's telling me more or less the same story. That's always been my issue with Digimon. And it's really cool, but the formulation of the story never changes. And Pokemon does the same thing, but they get around that by introducing so many new Pokemon that it's easy to forget that you're watching Ash go up to the Pokemon League and fail again until you actually get to the Pokemon League. So it's like a delay of disappointment, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
And also, I have the Pokemon games. They're like, what's a good Digimon game? I've never seen one.
No,
There are Digimon games?
Exactly!
There was like two.
They're
Like,
still making Digimon games.
I mean, I saw a trailer for one somewhere, but they were like, yeah, Digimon End World Zero, like the sequel to the like critic acclaimed something. I'm like, y'all made games on PlayStation 4? What?
Yeah.
Why?
RPG only.
Yeah, like it's, I don't know. Pokemon has much better
in
games.
Japan,
That's for
like,
sure.
They flourished in Japan. They never stopped.
So I have an important question. I know it's kind of a curveball, but between you three gentlemen, and I guess I'm getting a little personal, but I actually am fortunate and blessed enough. I actually was able to purchase my own house last year. But my question to you three, and by the way, we got that man Big Blue in the house, Jay and Mr. Carter. Say hi.
Mr. Carter, where you been?
So I guess in order, I have a general question for everybody in order. I guess starting with Blue. What age do you see yourself owning your first either piece of property or like a house?
Well, I did own my piece of property. I was about to say I did own an apartment when I was 19, but you know.
I mean, when you suspect yourself to be officially moved out, like completely, like living on your own, you got to pay every single kind of bill. When do you expect that to happen?
When, well, let's see, and Lord, this isn't like a complete like, yeah, this is gonna happen then, because I know how you work and you tend to be like, oh yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Alright.
No, it's just a guesstimate, a dream, if you will. But hypothetically, I guess.
Hypothetically, probably, if anything, by 2018.
I could dig it.
Because the way that
My bank account is set up. I had to. Gave too much for a pause. I had to.
Well, yeah, kind of that situation. I mean, especially where I'm working, and it's like Joya was saying, like, especially the article, like, it's not cheap to own a house anymore, especially not like how it used to be. Like, shit's expensive. Like, no joke. Like, if you're living somewhere, you most definitely would have to be living with a roommate, or you just be paying a whole lot of money, or unless you're fortunate like some people and have your parents paying for your apartment and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, it's really just my situation right now, just based on where the money is at. If I can afford it, then yeah, by 2018, God willing, I'm able to like land a job where I'm getting at least 50K. And if that's the case, then yeah, I should be well off enough to be able to get my own apartment and still be able to do what I want to do while still be able to pay the bills. That's all that matters to me. If I can do that, then I'm absolutely fine with just staying in an apartment for the rest of my life, because honestly, I don't have a lot of stuff besides my computer and my clothes and my base. Like, literally, that's about it. And I don't plan on having stuff that would like fill up the whole house. As long as I have a desk for my computer, a place to put my clothes, a sink, a washer, a dryer, a bed, and a living room.
No, you're getting fancy now. A living room?
Not many people get that.
I mean, as long as I can afford those and still be alright, then I'm straight. I really don't need a house. I mean, I was telling Casey, we don't need a house right now. There's no reason to get a house, because it's all this extra. We're paying all this money to get all this extra room. It's gonna be hella white space on the walls because I don't have anything, and she doesn't have anything. If anything, most of her stuff is clothes, and we could just throw that in the guest room, and that'll be it. Like, it's really no reason to get a small house and pay a whole lot of money for a small house, and we could just get an apartment that will cost like nowhere more than, I don't know, $1,200 a month, or depending on where it's at. Definitely don't plan on paying that, but it's no reason to be getting a big apartment like that if it's just going to be us two for a while. Now, when the offspring, let's make that singular, comes around, then maybe we'll have to get a small house. But until then, I don't see a reason to get a big place. And like but yeah, like to answer the question, yes, 2018 is a projected time that I'll be at my mom's house and living in my own place. If we still living together, black, then do that.
Yeah, we be kicking it though.
It's not bad.
Dig it.
I mean,
what about you, Joey?
I don't know. I'd say roughly the same timeline. Mid 17, definitely by 2018 for sure. I'm like financially going to be following a bit of a different road since I'm kicking my own business off the ground and stuff. So a lot of my livelihood is going to be coming from how hard I personally work and how I can push my personal brand and some of the other stuff I've got going on. But I'd say around then. I mean, similar to Blue, I don't really have like a ton of stuff. I'm not one of those people that's like, we got to move to fine China, and I want my bed frame. Like, no, I can IKEA the heck out of a place. I don't care. Like, especially in my first place, I'm not trying to have like feather vases full of like. I don't need all that right now. Like, I just want a place where it's mine. I got like the dopest internet, and
that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah, like I need a kitchen, a bed, a place to put my stuff, and a really good internet. That's all I need for like a solid 5 years. And then later on down the line, then I'll start looking at, well, what kind of neighbors do I have, or how big is this island, and how much does it cost for me to buy it, and can I build a racetrack on it, and, stuff like that. But to start out with, I don't really need a lot. But then when you shop around for not getting a lot, they'll be like, well, it's small and basic. And there were only 3 shootings last week, and I'm like, look, I'm not trying to.
We're not back at Statesboro, no.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to be around all that. Like, if I'm gonna pay for somewhere, I don't want to have to worry. Like, if I have to get groceries, I don't want to have to try to do everything in one trip every time because the bread and eggs are going to be gone because I didn't get them on the first trip and somebody came and took them. Like, I'm not. And I mean, there aren't like, it's not like Atlanta is full of places like that. I mean, there are definitely some places in Atlanta where you're gonna get your stuff took. But in general, the places where I'm looking to live, that's not necessarily the case. But I mean, it's expensive to try to get like a decent quality place, afford it consistently, have a car, pay for all of your bills, and then still somehow be saving money. Like, hello, what?
It's very, very difficult and price. I read the article you threw out, Joey. I can also link it somewhere in the description if you guys want to read it. But everything is literally going up. Everything is going up except our salaries, and it's kind of scary. And especially student loans, like, and that's why we need to like fight for like free school. Like, that needs to be a thing. Because it's holding everybody back. Like, literally, like, not just us millennials, but, like, even, like, my mom. She's still got, like, student loan debt money to pay off. And
I know
that's restricting her.
My parents do, too.
I know, like, I never knew how many older people still have student loan debt. Like, it blew my mind when I was talking to when I was listening to some of my relatives, and, just older people, and they'd be like, well, I still got about $10,000 in debt. And I'd be like, when did you go to school? Oh, 23 years ago. Huh?
Yeah, yo, it's crazy.
And then, of course, I asked him, like, have you just been doing the minimums? Like, no, I've been making the payments. And then, of course, like, you may want to put, like, a economic lessons warning flasher on the video or whatever, TJ. Like, a lot of people don't really understand interest, and what you're really doing is paying off the interest that's accumulating on your debt, and you're actually putting, like, $2 toward the actual amount. Not literally $2, of course. But that's why we need a legit class on how interest and things like that work, because we go out and we go to a school that we're told to follow our dreams, so we do, and we go to like the university of whatever, and okay, so we need student loans, cool, we got those. Well, it's still kind of expensive, so we need private loans. Okay, cool, but this private loan has like a 15% interest rate. When you're 19, that doesn't register in your mind. all you hear is, "I'm gonna get $4,000 back on a refund check." Cool, I got you.
Yup, you damn right.
I don't know. I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know if anyone has had exposure or like a class or went to a school. But as far as I'm concerned, I did not learn about interest at all in school. So that's like another. It's like really funny. It's like so weird. Like you're not taught real life stuff in school, especially taxes and interest when it comes to student
don't know
loans.
what taxes are.
Like I went to the school of my father and mother. That's the school I went to. They just shoved the information at my sister and I,
Like,
and we just had to learn it.
Joey, like, funny thing about that was one of my classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got a business too. So you telling me that we got to be business majors to learn how to? Man, I'm gonna fight America. I'm gonna just fight the whole.
Yeah, it was, I had my finance class was all about learning that.
Well,
So today we're gonna teach you how to survive.
Pretty much. I still got all my notes on it. It's like,
Hey, you need
how
to
does
keep
APR
those.
work again?
Man,
Refer back to
and
my-
that's the thing, and it's not even like, I mean, of course the industry associated with that is definitely super shady, but they'll throw so many acronyms and terms at you. They'll be like, okay, so you have a 3% APR interest rate with zero money down, but if you put down $1,000, the APR rate goes to 2% with $10,000 down, and you're just like, so can I get the car today, or
Yeah.
do I need a bigger check? What are you? I mean, like, and I mean, when I was getting my car, I was blessed enough, honestly, to have my dad sitting there right there with me. So when he was talking to the guy, I was just sitting there Googling everything. He was like, well, you know, we'll be able to do this and this. And I mean, I guess a bit of a life lesson out there for people that I took away from it. When I actually sat down and did the math, it was more cost effective for me to not lease my car. Because of course, you know, most people lease their cars and you quote own your car, except you don't. Because as soon as the lease is over, they take the car back and then they resell it to someone else. But when you own your car, you don't have a mileage cap. I live really far from things. So it would have cost me more money because of how far I had to drive to be on a lease because of their mileage caps. So I just bought my car, paid an extra $100 a month. And in a couple months, I'm going to flip my car, get a newer car, and pay less money. Like, but that's just because I learned that from someone who was willing to sit down with me and teach me how this system works. I didn't go to a class for it. I was eating dinner. Like, that's the classroom. That was my classroom.
Yeah, it's really
something like that.
Yeah. What about you, Carter? What do you? I know you're still in school, but what do you see yourself? Or when do you see yourself actually living on your own completely? Done with school, of course.
Like, not even like. In all honesty, it's like two different estimations. One with Devin, one without Devin. With
Fair
Devin,
enough.
I could see myself probably out of here in a year, because when she comes back, I'm out of here. But without her, it's gonna probably be like when I'm at the very least 40, trying to deal with this $60,000 plus built-in interest loan that I'm gonna have to deal with when I get out finally.
Oh man.
With no car or anything else. So whenever I'm out of school, I have to jump out of the plane running to a good job and be lucky if I get it.
And, it's
I
scary.
can dig it.
yeah, really is like
I'm
right now.
as I am now.
Say what?
It's like I'm barely making it as I am now. That's that time's running out.
Yeah, when the student loans hit you, make sure that you go to the website and you drop your loan payment, because that $400 was not looking good for my bank account this month. It was not. I was like, yo, change that right now, please.
And that's the other thing. Like, so another thing is that we aren't. Well, one more thing that we aren't taught though is all the different things that you can do to manage your debt more effectively. Like the people. One of the things that I've learned about like increasing your economic standing is that you're going to have debt. that's just how our economy
Yes.
works. Like you aren't going to be successful financially without having a good measure of debt associated with it. It's just how you manage that debt. But nobody tells us that. So we see that we have like $40,000 in student loan debt, and we're like, oh my God, I'm poor. I got to eat like ramen noodles every day. Not necessarily. Like, so one of the things you can do is most student loans are actually comprised of several smaller loans that they just add into one total. So like to people out there that are our age, or just people out there who just may not know for whatever reason, I don't know, you can actually refinance your loans, combine them all into one, get a lower interest rate, a lower monthly payment, and actually pay it off quicker. The only danger is it locks in your interest rate because now it's just one loan instead of like 12, which is good overall. But then if a lower interest rate is available later, you're not eligible for that. So it's kind of like playing the stock market. Like, do you cash out now or do you wait for something better? But I mean, like Blue said, when you get hit with that first payment request and it's like, okay, we need $518 every month for the next 22 years, you're just like, can we make that $100? Because I don't really have $518 right now, and I really don't want to go broke trying to pay for my education because that'll legit happen to a lot of people. I mean,
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening with a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure most of them don't even know that they can drop the payment.
Yeah, all you got to do is call them and be like, "Look, I'm poor."
Or just go to the site. Like when I went to the site and I saw the 400, I was like, "Yo!" Or you can change your payment amount, and I was like, "Yes, please."
Yeah, there are a lot of options out there. I mean, and you know, maybe when it comes to buying a house, there are similar options because I know for a fact that even though a lot of people our age are not buying homes, I know that mortgages by their monthly nature aren't that expensive because it's like you're in a $300,000. Well, let me not throw out a number like that. Let's say you're in like an $80,000 home. Let me pull out the
I was
good
about
old
to say 300. Boy, them houses over here you get for 300. Shit.
Yeah, but I mean, so let's say you get like when you're just starting out. Hold up, there we go. You get like an $80,000 home or something, and it comes with, I don't know, a pool maybe. They're gonna probably break that out over. They break it out over a really, really long time. That's what mortgages are. They're just really, really long loans. So like an $80,000 house would cost with like a 20-year mortgage or something, it would be like $333 a month and 33 cents, etc. And some other stuff, of course. And then you got your bills. But it could theoretically be under $500 a month to have a house, which for some people is less than what their student loans cost. But we aren't taught that. All we hear is we go like house hunting or we go looking for an apartment and we see that, oh, well, this apartment costs $70,000. How am I pay $70,000? But then they're like, well, we expect you to either be here for 20 years or like rent it out. So it actually doesn't cost that much because there's like the life expectancy of a loan versus its cost. So like the shorter a loan is, the more expensive it is within that period of time. That's why leasing can be such a flexible option because you can lease over the course of a couple of years and it drastically drops your payments. Or you can lease over a short period of time, have really high payments, but you don't have to pay as much interest. It's this whole, and we aren't taught, like, what was our math class doing? I don't.
Bruh, teaching us about triangles and the cute angles.
Like,
I have yet to use the Pythagorean theorem.
Right.
Talking about.
Right.
Man, I can measure the angles between this cash register that I work behind. Like, what? Like, what do you? What's the purpose of? I mean, and you know what? It's cool that you have to like challenge young minds that way. You have to tell them that these things exist, but stop making it a mandatory part of being an academically like proficient student in this country. Please start teaching younger people like taxes and finances, because I promise you it's easier than geometry and calculus and trigonometry and all you got to do is tell people you take this number and you put it into that number and that's how much money you pay every month. That's it. If you would just tell us that when we were like 12, this whole issue could have been avoided. But instead they wanted us to learn how to do math without calculators. And why was it always without calculators? I hated all those teachers who'd be like, well, you're not going to have a calculator in the real world. Bruh, like, what?
We're not going to have
a calculator in the real world.
Have you not seen this man's watch?
Yeah,
like,
bruh. What? I have so many calculators. It's stupid. I could talk to my phone right now and ask it to do calculus, and it'll give me an answer. Like I don't,
Like,
I don't need to know this stuff offhand.
This is not The Walking Dead, sir. This is not talking about I need no damn cat. Get out of here with that shit.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's crazy because in relevance to what which the article that you posted about millennials not buying houses, I was actually reading something else of the average income of millennials in certain states, and the average there were only like 3 states that I seen where the average for millennials was above 40,000.
Where's
and I think one of it was definitely California.
Well, it has to be in California because everything is literally more expensive than anybody else.
California and New York.
It was California. I think I seen it in New York as well, and I think the other one was Georgia or just one other state in the South. It was more than likely Georgia. But outside of that, all the other states, they were like below 23,000.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that is ridiculous. Like, how you expect people to buy houses or not live with their parents in this time of year?
I mean, and it really just goes back to like the tremendous income gap that exists in our country. Because I mean, I think a lot of people stop paying attention to it once they start doing okay. But the reality of the situation, like, okay, one of my friends has a family member who lives in somewhere in the West Virginia area, I believe. But they've been working at a place for an extremely long time, and I think she was happy because she had just recently gotten a raise of like a few dollars. And I was like, oh, that's what's up, what is she doing? She was I think an assistant of some sort. And she'd been working again for a long time, and she was now making like I think $13 an hour or something like that. And this was after like 20 something years of work.
See?
And but I mean, for where they live economically, that's okay because everything around them is priced to people with that income level. But then when you try to bring that same mentality to a city, you can't pay me. You can't pay, like what? Like
you living in your car.
Yeah, like
know what you're thinking.
Like a job I applied to earlier was looking for a young fresh mind, fresh out of college, whatever. But they were trying to pay like $32,000.
Oh yeah, that gotta have a 3.9 GPA.
I'm looking for a dedicated worker with a 3.9 GPA with at least 4 years of experience in the industry to make about $32,000 a year. You looking for a slave? That's what you're looking for. But I mean, people think they can get out, and some people don't know the difference. So there are some employers out there that think they can get over on an employee and severely underpay them because we're so thirsty for a job, and then we're seen as ungrateful when we don't accept crap work and crap wages. I don't know. It's a cycle. It's like a perpetuated cycle that seems to always work against us on some front because either we're living at home with our parents and we're quote unquote lazy, or we're out on our own and we're technically dead inside because we spend all our money on student loans, cars to get to work, and then spending all day at an office. So then we go out on the weekend and we party. Oh, these kids party too much and they don't have any priorities in life. They don't settle down and start any families. So you get a girlfriend or boyfriend. You get married young. You have a kid. You struggle to take care of the kid. Oh, these kids are having kids so young. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to financially plan for the future. So you don't have kids. All these kids aren't having any kids. And I'm just like, yo, shut up. Stop telling me.
Nothing we do is right.
You can always find something to be upset about, but you aren't addressing the actual problem, which is that the generations before us fundamentally screwed the system, and now they're just going to walk away from it. Because they're going to get older, stop working, and eventually pass away, which is going to leave us to clean up the mess. And we're just like, what do you want us to do about this? You didn't tell us what this is, how it works, and you're yelling at me because I can't fix it. Like, imagine if you were tech support and you never saw a computer before. like you get called to somebody's house.
Caveman SpongeBob over here.
Right? Like, you get called to someone's house and they're like, my computer's broken. You're like, What's a computer? How does that work? What do you mean it's broken? Why did you break it? Like, but that's what a lot of people. That's what a lot of rich people, other people, done with the economy. They destroyed it, and now they're looking at us like, "Why haven't you made things better?" It's your mess. What? Like, you need to clean up after yourself, you jackass. But they don't want to.
It's crazy.
Well, some of them don't want to. Of course, there are people out there who are fighting for higher minimum wage and stuff like that, which is absolutely necessary. Yeah, because a higher minimum wage would theoretically bump up the amount of money that we have to be paid as experienced workers. So,
I think it would actually, like, I don't know about $15 an hour at like freaking McDonald's or something like that, but
yeah, there needs to be a cap for sure.
Yeah, but something, because I mean, there are people, like, I understand that there are some people that are, you know, working at these minimum wage jobs and like doing nothing with their money besides buying rims and Tims. Oh, not Tims. Buying rims and
Tims.
you know, no. I didn't mean to say that. No, the Tim buyers, they straight. They know. They don't go too crazy with it because of Tims. But yeah, for those people that, you know, like to splurge their money even though they're not getting a lot coming in anyways, there are those people out there. But I definitely know of people that, you know, that are trying to make it but are just genuinely stuck trying to make ends meet every day with their minimum wage job, and, you know, not even being able to, don't really have the time to do much else because they have to keep working to get the money so that they can pay for whatever bills, student loans and stuff like that. So increasing the minimum wage by a certain amount, it will definitely help those people a little more. It's definitely going to, you know, handicap or give a crutch to those people that like to spend more money. But in the end, like, it's really those people that actually need it that we're doing this for.
Yeah,
or we're trying to do this for.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was that Patrick.
Patrick, you're like a little mouse.
You are extra low,
man.
Yeah, like, are you yelling at your laptop from across the room, or?
No, I have my microphone.
Well, I got you on 200% on Discord, and you're still
like tape it to your mouth?
Yeah, something. Attach it to your voice box or something.
Let me see what's up.
But as Patrick works out his audio difficulties, like, that's actually one of the things that a lot of people in our government use as like a deterrent for the reason that they don't do socially advancing things. They'll look at the one negative part of it, and they'll be like, okay, so you guys want the minimum wage. Well, what about homeboy over here that's going to buy rent? You're right. But what about the 4,000 families that need just a little bit more money? Like, are we really going to not help them because of this guy right here? Because that's not okay. But people get so fixated on that negative that they're like, nah, I don't want people out here on food stamps buying filet mignon and
I mean
Cargo signed by your mama. Medical card from Obama.
Oh man. But yeah, people get hung up on all that stuff, and then change doesn't happen because it's easy to transfix people with the negative, and that doesn't let them see the benefits of the positive. Because I mean, like Blue said, there needs to be an increase in minimum wage. I don't know if $15 is the magical number, because I feel like a lot of people would just straight up lose their jobs if it was set at a mandatory $15. So I know a lot of places that would be like, we keep a lot of y'all around just because we can. We can really run this place with 3 people. So the rest of y'all, just, you're done. And, and I mean, of course, you don't want that to happen. So I think you got to maybe play with the numbers a bit more, but it definitely needs to go up. Because, I mean, what's the minimum wage right now?
25 out here.
25.
Yeah,
so 25 years.
Yeah, like $7.25. Like, what?
Like, that ain't doing jack.
What the hell am I supposed to do with that?
That can help you pay.
Right?
If you're working 12 hours, or if you're in school working or taking 12-hour courses and, you know, working the rest of that time, then yeah, you'll be able to pay for your apartment. I don't know what you're gonna eat, But
And that's the other thing. All these older people who are like, well, when I was in school, I had 2 jobs, and I walked to school through the snow, uphill both directions. And I was like, but school also didn't cost you like $40,000. So
yeah, school was definitely like way cheaper back then than it is now.
yeah, like, so you may have had 2 jobs. You could afford that. Right now, I need 7 jobs, and I really only have 24 hours.
Oh man.
If you can figure that out for me, that'd be cool. But whatever.
Yeah, and it's also crazy because I was talking to this cougar while I was at work.
Sorry, this what?
Yeah, it was a cougar. It was very interesting, and I swear if I get fired, it's gonna be because of her. My goodness.
What?
The way the cut. Oh my. Anyways.
Sorry for another day.
Yeah.
She like she was asking me how old I was, and I was like 25. She was like, "Oh, you young?" She was like, "How much you getting from this job?" I was like, 11 hours. She was like, "Oh, okay. So how much is that a year?" I'm like, "That's like 22,000." And she was like, "Oh, that should be good for you." I was like,
Huh?
"I live with my mom."
Bruh,
And she was like, "Oh, okay, you're good." I was like,
Yo.
you think I could make it out here with 22? You
real
nuts?"
talk though, minimum wage be having you out here like this. That's what minimum wage be doing to folks.
Yo, like the heck, you out your damn mind if you think I'm be doing anything with no 22. Like if I was to get my own place and get my own, like I'm lucky that I'm able to work from home. I have to pay student loans, and if I was to have a car, then I have to have a car, and if I was to pay for a place, I have to pay for the place, and then the insurance on the car, like, and then food. I'm probably gonna be like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with the money I got now, making like checking my bank account every 2 days, and I don't have shit that's taking money until like the end of the month.
Let's
Like,
not
what you
forget
mean,
the people that have to
22?
pay for their own health care.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man, don't even get started, man. That's gonna be a. Don't even get me, man.
Speaking of which,
Please,
since
by all
we did
means, get
that,
started,
no,
because
no, no,
that's
let's,
what I gotta do.
man, we can touch on it, but I didn't want to say it earlier, but I didn't even want to get started on credit scores and how to build it and how to use it to your advantage in living. Like, I wanted to save that one as well.
I can't even get a credit card.
You know what? We can do like a whole breakaway series that are like seminars from the other side or something, where we have to learn all this stuff like it in like uppercut through the Mortal Kombat. We're like, oh, that's how this works. What? Oh, you just hit me with the fatality because my credit score low. I see. And again, I'm thankful because my parents were able to teach me a lot of this stuff, and I know a lot of people don't have that benefit. And I try to help everybody that I can. I mean, I know with Blue and Patrick, I threw some advice out here and there that I got from my parents, but a lot of people don't have that benefit. A lot of people are just like, well, I mean, my credit score is like a 530, so you know that's good. And I'm just like, you know, the max is 800, right? Like, that's not actually that good. That's pretty bad.
It's real bad. Like, I'm actually losing my mind right now because my credit score isn't at 700 anymore. But I mean,
like, I'm afraid to check. Last time I was checked, it was like 530.
Yeah, you need to like get your name on your own cell phone bill, pay it off, and then rob a bank. Money.
I can't afford a contract. I gotta stay prepaid. I gotta get them monthly $50 cards.
See, it's stuff like that. Like that's just another. I mean, Patrick's situation is definitely unique in the grand scheme of things, but a lot of people out there are stuck in that kind of self-perpetuating system where it's like, you know, I can't afford to eat, and I eat because I don't eat because I can't afford it. I don't have a job that takes a lot of physical labor because I can't eat, so I don't make any money. And because I don't make any money, I can't eat. And because I don't eat, I can't get a better job. So, like, it's just like which door opens first, and none of them ever seem like they will.
yeah, it's quite crazy. But like TJ said, we'll keep that whole information for another day. But yeah, it's really crazy on how everything is. I mean, how this generation is. Like, honestly, I would like to hear from what do they call those people? Not the baby boomers, the one after that, the
Gen X.
Gen X, yeah. I like to hear from a Gen X perspective of everything, and like a actual like somebody that'll actually just say what they went through, as opposed to trying to, you know, bash us for, you know, the way that we are, and, you know, saying how they went through things and how we're not doing shit. Like somebody that's actually just genuinely just letting us know how it was when they were younger, stuff like. I just genuinely want to know, because I mean, me growing up in a Haitian background, I I mean, my mother, she's not the most highly educated. My father, I mean, he went to school. He went to, I think it was a community college, got his electrical engineering degree or something like that, and is making big bucks. But I mean, that's in Jersey. So technically, he wasn't making the most amount of money, but he was able to pay the bills here and there and stuff like that. And he's still doing what he can for the most part. But it's like what was, and not only that, I mean, he was living with his mother like for the first 5 years of my life. So it's not like he was, you know, in school and just got out of school working at a job, and then, you know, he just paid for his own. Honestly, now that I think about it, he didn't start working at his job until I was 4, because we moved to the house when I was 5. So I mean, clearly he's kind of in the same state. Like, you do what you can to save as much as you can, and then when you can move, you can move. But you know, I just want to be able to hear it from somebody in that age group.
That would be kind of nice.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And I think like a lot of these new millennials, they gotta they gotta know, they gotta understand like the reality of America not being cheap. Like, I mean, just like with one of my girlfriend's family members, she's also a millennial, and she has her boyfriend, and I'm pretty sure that they're more than likely gonna get married before I do. But I mean, hey, kudos to them. I mean, neither of them went to school, so they don't have loans that they gotta worry about. So, or I think she is, but I don't know. Whatever situation. What the hell?
Okay, Hearthstone. Like, just randomly boot up. What? What?
Oh my gosh!
It's like it's time to play some cards.
But yeah, like she didn't really understand the scope of how much everything costs, how much a place costs, how much weddings cost. That's gonna be something else. Like, that's just gonna be for another time. But she didn't understand how, like, why, like, how much things cost, especially for the weddings. That she, every time when she would talk to my girlfriend Casey about, you know, the wedding, or when am I gonna propose, and when am I gonna, you know, do this and do that, and she's just like, well,
quick side note to everybody out there: the worst question you can ask a guy is when they're gonna propose. Never say it. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Like,
that should be a podcast too. I believe ladies. I believe ladies should be able to ask guys too. Like, I mean, what are you waiting for?
I personally like this whole.
Happy
like, well, yes.
I don't.
Yes, they do. And I mean, hey, they got married. It was great. They're happy. Kudos.
Yeah.
But no, like this whole, so when are you gonna propose? When are you gonna pop the cork? When you buy me a ring? Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she didn't really understand the whole, you know, these shits actually cost money. It took somebody that got married 5 years ago. You know, we were just sitting down at Mark's house, and then Mark was, you know, doing the whole informational thing about being married, how it's like being married, and the cost of being married. And then it took her sitting down and listening to him and realizing how much everything costs. How it was like $20 a plate per person that was at the wedding, and then for some reason they had like a whole bunch of extra people came, so they paid like an extra $12,000 for food or something like that. And it's like nothing, like everything nowadays is just getting more and more and more expensive. It may not seem expensive to her because she has the luxury of, you know, not having to go to school or not having to pay for rent like we did and stuff like that. While we were in school, she was living with her parents, and she was working and, you know, being able to buy however many clothes that they have so much clothes. Oh my god, like her and her boyfriend dress like they have the same colors every event. Literally every event. I don't know how much money they have to just go shopping all the time together to get the same color clothes. It's ridiculous. But they do.
I'm trying to be that kind of rich.
Throw some of that money my way. Shit.
I mean, that's just how they living right now. So I mean, I guess for them to not realize, weddings aren't cheap. Living on your own, not in your parents' house, it's not going to be cheap unless you're living somewhere in Stone Mountain, and then you're not living in the safest place in Georgia either, nor do they have the best school system. So if you plan on having kids, you better be teaching them everything that you can, or else they're going to end up like idiots not knowing how to read. Just being dead ass. I'm just being dead ass.
Damn.
I mean, when you got to tell the truth, you got to tell the truth. But yeah, like there's way more economic burden on our generation than what previous generations give us credit for. And I think what it really boils down to is that our generation has access to a lot of this information. We aren't being taught how to solve the problems, but we can figure out what the problem looks like much easier because we can hop on Google and we can learn about the fact that, we're how many trillions of dollars in debt? It's going to take me how long to pay off this? Like a lot of that stuff could possibly be like kept out of view or whatever. But with the internet, you can look up information in a heartbeat and you can give yourself like a brief education in what your situation looks like. And it's not always pretty. So, I don't think that these problems in terms of debt are really that different. But when you look at the way that some of our I guess forefathers or the generations that came before us, the way that they handled some things, like they weren't necessarily being careful when it came to debt. I feel like a lot of it was just that a lot of people didn't know and didn't have the tools to learn about it. I mean, because now you can, freaking Harvard and Ivy League schools give entire YouTube courses on like physics and stuff. Like you can teach yourself about some stuff that you look for.
Yeah.
But you got to know where to look, and that can be hard.
Yeah. Like I could have been taking classes to get this A+ certification, but instead I'm paying what, $29 a month to be able to watch videos that has these exact same courses, as well as God knows how many other courses that I can learn from this. Like they're all out. Everything is out there. It's just a matter that we just got to be able to look and find it, and it's, I don't know. It's just it makes things very difficult, because I know for the Generation X, they probably have, they do have that mentality of if you don't look, you're not going to find it. Mm-hmm. But they raised us of just giving it to us, which is why I am grateful at least for that part of the way that my parents treated me when I was younger. They never just gave me everything. I had to get it my own self. And if I couldn't get it, then I just had to wait or just find another way. But some people, they're just like so spoiled, like the second that they have to do something, hence Apple users, the second that they have to figure things out on their own, or it's not just right there in front of them, they start bitching.
That's shade though.
I'm just saying. It's the same thing like with the Chick-fil-A app. God knows how many. Oh my God!
Yeah, tell me about that, Blue.
Okay.
How does that make you feel?
No, it just really upset me when I was working at Chick-fil-A, and this is like one of the issues that I just have with Apple users. Or iPhone users. Let me not say Apple, because I obviously have an iPod. But for iPhone users, like
I'll be real, Blue. Having an iPod no longer qualifies you as an Apple user, because at that point you're just using it for music.
Yeah. That's literally all I'm using it for. Like every time when I go to I'm literally just pressing music and just listening to music. Outside of that, if I can get a device that can hold as much music as my iPhone does, my iPod does, I use whatever it's whatever works, and that's what I have, and that's what works. Outside of that, I don't have Apple anything. But yeah, so the issue was that you guys may know about the Chick-fil-A One app. So you get the app. It's pretty much like the whole membership the whole like membership club thingy or whatever that you get, and you go in and you scan your ID or whatever, or you're also able to place orders online, and then when you have your Wi-Fi on, your data on, as soon as they recognize that you're within the area of the Chick-fil-A, then it will place your order in. By the time you walk in, we're supposed to have your food ready, and then we just give it to you, then you go, and stuff like that. And then
I ain't trying to have them take my order if I don't even want to go in there. What?
I mean, yeah, like they had, like you can literally make your whole order ahead of time, and then by the time you get to the parking lot, the order
okay, so
will
you place the order on the phone. I thought you made it sound like,
oh no,
like, oh, I drove past Chick-fil-A, here's your order.
Then he throwing chicken sandwiches out the window like, hey.
no, that's not what I meant. My bad. Oh man. But yeah, so that's literally what the app was. And then for the first week, or however long it was like if you sign up, if you get the app and then you sign up, and then you get a free sandwich, whatever sandwich that it was. I kid you not. Everybody that had all the customers that had difficulties trying to figure out how to use the app were all Apple users. Every last one. I had not had one Android user not figure out how to use the app. Because I mean, it just wasn't in front of you. Like it wasn't just clear as day. Oh yeah, you need to do this, you need to click. I mean, it was clear as day, but if you weren't reading it, then you wouldn't have figured it out. And that's the thing, that's the thing that gets me with Apple users. It's like, especially with MacBooks and stuff like that, everything is just right there, and there's only one way that you can do it, as opposed to Android or Windows, where you have like 4 different ways to be able to open up the application or find an application or a picture or something like that. With Apple, it's just one way to do it, and it's right there, and it's in bold. Like big bold, if you're looking for the letter A, it's just a big old A on the screen. It's like, there it is. But the second that the font of that A is a little smaller, it's like, oh shit, where did the A go? But
okay, so is it weird that I find MacBooks considerably harder to use than any PC?
Well,
I mean,
they're easier to use once you learn how to. It's kind of like, I hate making this comparison because I love manual cars, but it's kind of like driving a stick. If you've never done it before, it seems really complex. But once you figure it out, it's actually pretty intuitive. But then if you try to take that to a person who uses automatic, they'll be like, what is this tomfoolery? And then you burn your clutch out, and now they owe you a new clutch. Like,
right. I mean, I feel like Windows would be more so like a stick, and automatic would be like an Apple. Yeah. Because it's really just you press the gas and you just go. But as a stick, you have to do all the different things that I still don't know, because I mean, I haven't tried, driving this.
Use the clutch, press the gas.
Yeah, all of that. But literally, once you and I mean, I
drive.
But it's like once you figure out how to use a Mac, then it'll make sense. I mean, that's just like with everything. But you throw a Mac at somebody, like this is literally what pissed me off. When I was in New Jersey and I was trying to print out my bus ticket to come back down here. I was using
Hola.
The Apple ninjas got on.
Yeah, I could not figure it out to save my life. I checked the top menu, I looked up file, I looked up everything, like the whole view, like whatever they had at the top menu, I couldn't find it there. I opened up the little bar at the bottom that usually has the applications, I didn't see it there. I opened up the library to see if I could find it there, I couldn't find it there. I'm like, where is this thing? Like, there is no way. I'm looking all over this damn screen and I cannot find how to get to the freaking internet. It is ridiculous. But I promise you, as soon as I would have figured, I just gave up at that point. But as soon as I figured it out, then it would have made sense to me. Then it just would have been like, all right, now I know that it's right here. But it's like, if you don't know where it's at initially, you're not gonna find it. As opposed to Microsoft, you got like 3, 4, 5 different ways that you can get to a single application.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it is with the Mac, and that's what bugs me about that. It's just so easy and simple, which is why people always got jokes on Apple users saying that they're like freaking goats, because it's really just easy and simple, just one way to do things, and that's it. But people that are adepts with Androids and Windows, you just know how to be able to navigate with multiple options that you have. And it doesn't, hurt your brain to have different, ways to navigate through stuff. But I mean, that's just that was just my issue with Apple users while I was at work, because it was literally just them. They kept on asking me, "Oh, how do you get to the sandwich? Get my sandwich now." Yes, you click "Get my sandwich now." Oh, you can click that? Yes, ma'am. That is exactly what you gotta click. The bold is slightly bigger than the rest of the words, and it's in blue. You click that. But no, they just want everything right there in front of them, just handed to them. And I think that's what makes us different from the Generation X. They taught us. They pretty much hand fed us everything. Make sure we get our participation ribbons or certificates or whatever it is.
And I'm so tired of people using that against us. Like, we didn't go talk to the teachers and ask for that. Like, stop telling me, "Oh, millennials need a participation trophy." Who was the one who was complaining at the teacher? "Oh, my son, who's never worked out a day in his life, got run over by that kid who's played football since he was 2. I want him to go home with something too." No, your son sucks at football. Put him in a camp. Like, why is this my problem?
Yeah.
But no, like, all these millennials and they all need participation trophies. Like, if I could just one time, like, if there was like a VR or like some kind of virtual reality something where you could just go 1v1 somebody and there'd be no physical consequences and everybody would walk away and shake hands, I would put some people on the floor. Like, I'm talking like straight up all out brawl, like me versus you. I'm taking you out because you've been talking the most shit. Like, come on with this. Stop telling me that it's my fault that people in my age group got participation trophies and now they sometimes feel entitled to something like a fair wage. Really?
Yeah, it's definitely what the parents taught the kids. It isn't what the kids taught themselves. Like, we don't come out thinking, "Oh, that's an apple. Let me eat that. Oh, that's a poison berry. Let me not eat that." No, if it's a poison berry and I ate it, I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. I just hope that there was a kid that saw me eat that ate the poison berry and think to himself, "Okay, let me not do that." But no, it's literally, and that's the thing that bugs me about, like, when it comes to like children and the way that some people, raise their kids and stuff like that. Like, these are like the way that you raise them. That's how they're going to outlook things when they get older, and take whatever they learned when they were younger. And
Apple Ninja's got him again.
All right.
Like, I happen to be fortunate enough to not have parents that been like, "Oh, my son needs a ribbon too," and stuff like that. Like, if I did something wrong, they blame it on me. Like, "Yo, you suck."
Right?
And I was just like, damn.
Like, dang, I thought you were better than this, but I guess we gotta do work.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I'm not like that. But for like a lot of other people, I mean, people that I know specifically, like, the second that something challenging comes their way, they don't want to do it because they're just so easy. They're just used to having everything be handed to them. And the second that they don't win or end up on top, they expect some type of compensation or, again, entitlement. Well, that's because when they were growing up, you made sure that they weren't sad. You didn't want them to be sad. This is real life. You're going to be sad eventually, so quit trying to hide shit from me. It's not our fault that we're like this. It's really not.
Yeah, no, like, and what's crazy is, like, a lot of parents, well, I can't even say parents, a lot of people don't take responsibility for the things that they do. Like, kind of like Bruce said, your children are your responsibility. How they turn out is a direct reflection of you. Just like, I mean, let's be real, we're all black here. How many times have you heard from one or both parents, "Don't go out here and embarrass me"? Not yourself. Don't go out here and embarrass me.
Many times.
Your parents,
I still hear it.
right? Like, your parents were not concerned about if your kid was running through Kroger screaming at the top of his lungs. They were like, you know what? They can rationalize in their mind, he's a kid. He doesn't know any better. But then when everybody looks around and they see that that's your kid, now they're embarrassed. So what do they tell? Don't go out here and make a fool of me. Like, this is about me. This is not about you. This is not about your feelings. Don't go out here and make me look bad. And I feel like a lot of parents, there are some parents out there that don't give that to their kids, because I mean, truth be told, for a lot of people growing up, the first 5 years of your life in a black household are really just not embarrassing your parents in public. Like, that's really like the first 5 years. And then like the next 5 years are you going to be a sports player or no? And then after that, you can kind of start doing your own thing. But the first 10 years, like, you got to go through some programs. You got some stuff you got to do. But I mean,
no, I gotta disagree on that. I think, especially my parents, for example, and it may be a little bit true, maybe not as much for a lot of black, families and whatnot, because my mom would always want me to look a certain way when we're like going to events or hosting parties or something like that, or getting like family get-togethers. Like, it is like she makes sure I'm looking top notch. I at least, at the bare minimum, I got a polo on, some slacks, and some nice dress shoes and a watch. Each and every time. Like, there is no jogging pants, flip flops. I can't do that. But it's also, I think it's because not only does she care about me and wants me to look the best, I can, I think it's still somewhat of a reflection on her as well.
Oh, yeah,
so I think it's just a different level of, how she cares about me, or how our parents care about us. So I think that really it goes down, it dies down, but I don't think it ever goes away, and that's cool. That's cool,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm thankful for it. I mean, like, even now, even an example with Blue and TJ. How many times has Mrs. Black gotten on me about me growing out my hair? Like, she's not even my mom.
Yeah.
And she'll still be like, "Why are you out here looking like this? Really? What are you doing?" And I'm like, I mean, I know you care, but come on. Like, I'm 25. I'm not even your child. But still, I mean, that's just a motherly thing. Like, when we were leaving a Christmas party and Dante put on his jacket, it was just a reflex. Like, she fixed his hood on his jacket, and I was like, you just can't help yourself after a certain point in time. Yeah. It's just in you.
Like, let's be real, and until it gets to the point to where you can dress any kind of way, like in front of your parents, without a penalty, then I think they still want it that way. Cause Blue, are you really gonna show up to like an event, like with your parents or whatnot, and just look any kind of way?
Nah. I mean, just based on the way that they raised me, I wouldn't do that anyway. Cause I mean, I like I've done before, like when I have my twist out, I only have it out for whatever event was coming up, and then I'll take it out. But I'll never go to an event with my hair twisted, or anything like that, because I mean, unless it's like really nice. But even then, that's not my style to be, just going out with my hair twisted like that. That's not what I was going for. I went for something a little more different, but at the same time, it's still clean. And even then, like the way that I dress, I mean, I may look trashy to go to like the freaking, I don't know, to the freaking car shop, or to go to McDonald's or something like that. But if I'm going out somewhere like a legit place, I usually, even if I'm going to like a little kit bag, I will still put on like a polo with jeans and like some type of dress shoes, because I'm Haitian, and for some reason I can't stop doing that.
I think that's all of us. If you got the means to do something about it, you gonna do something about it. Like,
it's just one of those things that are just bred in us after being with that. I mean, it's one of those things that our parents just bred in us, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like I keep saying, I am thankful that my parents were so willing to be on my back about being on top of finances, because now I can't not do it. Like, I was having a conversation earlier with my girlfriend, and she was looking at buying gifts for her friends. And she was like, oh, well, each one will be like whatever the price point was. And I was like, how many friends you got? And she's like, well, it'll be 5 of them. And I'm like, you gonna spend that much? 5 friends? And she's like, well, I want to give them a really nice gift. I was like, okay, I appreciate that. But let's look at the numbers. Like, I can't help but do that because that's how my parents raised me. Like, if I wanted to do something, costs would be broken down 100% of the time. Like, you want to go on the other side of town and hang out with your friend for 30 minutes? Let's go through how much this is going to cost me in gas so you can see why this is a bad idea. Like, but true enough, once I broke it down, I got to the point where I would just tell friends, like, I can't hang out with y'all. Like, I can't really justify hanging out with you when it's going to cost like $80 or something just to kick it for a couple minutes. Like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. So,
yeah,
I mean, you know how it goes.
Which is completely understandable.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, when you're younger, that's not going to be the first thing that comes up in your mind. Like, you're not going to immediately think, how much is this going to cost my parents or me to do this? But, when your parents really put that in you, it's something that you can't get away from. Like, even now, I've been doing Christmas shopping, and I'm still thinking, like, how is this going to affect me financially in, like, March?
Right, exactly.
I can't help but do that now. Like, sometimes it annoys me, but I'm overall thankful for it. But it's one of those things that's put into you. So, I mean, people out there, you need to take responsibility for your kids and stop blaming us for the freaking participation trophies. We didn't do that. Like, that was y'all.
We ain't asked for no participation trophy. I was just fine. We're trying to get better, but nah.
Yeah, like
you just would be like, oh, you get a participation trophy. Honestly, right. I didn't even give a damn about participation trophy. Every time I looked at it, I'm just like, yo, you're just pretty much telling me that I suck.
Yeah, like, second place is the first loser kind of thing. Like, don't get this out of my face. Like, what is this foolishness?
Yeah, that was a good thing to say.
I mean,
it's the first loser. It's like, so I'm still first? Yes. In your own way, you're still first.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah, but that's how it is for some people. Like, I mean, that's how I look at competitions. Like, if I'm not first place, I lost. If you're like, oh, well, you did good. He's been running track since he was 4. It's like, I don't care. I want to beat him. Like, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if he has the legs of a cheetah. I want to win.
I think that's what they're doing that a lot. Like, just in general, social, they're doing a lot. It really makes me upset because it's like now the new generation is not going to learn squat diddly. Like, I remember when Casey, she was helping, I think Isabel or one of her nieces, I forget which one, there's too many of them. It's like 50. But one of her nieces was having like some field day or something like that. And she was helping them out. And, I think one of the kids, or like they were doing a specific event and one of the kids wasn't able to do it or something like that. And then she was just like, oh, well, I need to help him out so that he can do it too, so he can catch up, so he can make it fair. I was like, the game was fair when they gave him the rules and said that everybody has to follow the same exact rules. That is it. Don't talk about something. You need to make the game fair for everybody and stuff like that. No, if they cry because they lost, they will cry because they lost. You tell them you'll do better next time. Keep your head up, kiddo, and then they'll do better next time if they're really serious about it. And that is it. Like, no more of this hand holding stuff. Like, I don't do none of this hand holding or whatever. I don't do none of this like, oh well, you did it for one, so you got to do it for all of them thing. Like, that's the thing with like one of Casey's nieces. I'm one of Casey's nieces' godfather, and like the other. I mean, for some reason, I don't know why all these kids love me, but they do, and they're just like, oh well, it's not fair that Ileana's your godfather and you're not.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's like if I do end up buying something for Christmas, I'm only going to buy. That's my goddaughter. The rest of them aren't my god. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh well, Ileana's my goddaughter, but the rest of you are technically my niece-in-laws or whatever. So let me get you all gifts right now. No, I'm a broke nigga right now. It's only getting something for I literally only get something for my girlfriend, my goddaughter, and my godson. That is it. Like, they ain't no, oh, well, the rest of the nieces are there too, so they all need gifts. No. I've dedicated my life to my goddaughter, and that is it. Like, no more of this like, they're gonna call me an asshole and stuff like that. I don't care because these kids, like this new generation, really can't. They're gonna fall into this cycle of having everything spoon fed to them and handed to them, and when shit starts to hit the fan, all they're gonna do is just sit down and cry, and ain't nobody gonna help them with that.
Yeah, it's I mean, there are definitely people out there. Like when I was talking about really just gift giving again with my girlfriend. Like she was saying, "Well, are you going to get presents for this person?" And that person's like, "No, I'm getting presents for 5." All right, like I was like, "Well, what about so and so? They'll live. I don't, I don't know. They'll be alive if I don't get them something for Christmas." So it sounds rude, true, but I can't be responsible for everybody's happiness. So I'm not going to try to be. Because eventually that's just going to stretch me thin. And 90% of the stuff that people get at Christmas, they forget about by February anyway, unless it's something really, really valuable. Like,
yeah, and if that's the case, then it's more than likely.
Yeah, like, what? No, I'm not trying to stretch myself thin just so and so can feel good about themselves. I mean, unless they're a person who genuinely doesn't get anything on Christmas, then I'm more than happy to go out of my way to make sure that you don't feel alone or whatever the case may be on Christmas. Make sure that people feel loved and cared for, because that's important. But if you already got a mom and dad, it's like, oh well, everybody's getting them a present. Well, then it sounds like they'll have gifts. Cool. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna buy them one. I don't have that kind of money. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's quite crazy.
You know what? How about let's make it a fun podcast next week. Let's actually talk about Christmas and the culture behind it, and how we have to shell out like millions of dollars just to be happy on that day, on that one day, and people don't even understand the message behind it. So we'll talk about that next week.
I'm gonna say, ain't gonna be no fun podcast. It's gonna be blue, mad as hell. Cause
yeah, it is. We'll make it fun for whoever doesn't want to get too mad and angry. And I want to laugh at Blue too. I'm gonna be honest. So it's gonna be fun for me. So it's gonna be fun for our audience. How about that?
Laugh at our pain, Kevin.
Yes. But I'm gonna go on and wrap it up. It was fun. Brilliant discussion. I really like the topic, Joey.
Yep.
You can follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, not yet. iTunes.
We ain't dropping mixtapes yet.
Stitcher Radio and Google Play. If you want the podcast immediately first, it's probably going to be on the YouTube page with references and stuff like that. So definitely tune in, subscribe. I'll link everybody's social media if you want to get in contact with them. Use the hashtag Twitter, hashtag tjrages, if you either want to get on the podcast or want to ask questions to go towards the podcast, and we can help you out a little bit. And we're not complaining.
But we are saying.
We're out.